This is my 2004 110cc Chinese export pit bike restoration, using only the very cheapest eBay parts. All the work, filming and editing was done by me on my phone. It doesn't take a genius to see that it's not quite in mint condition and is missing some essential parts. It was all disassembled for some reason, though I didn't get everything with it. What's in the pictures is what came with it. It's pretty much a frame and engine. Surprisingly, there's barely any rust on it. I got it from a friend of my brother's, and the deal was, if I can get it running, I owe him 50 quid. If not, I can keep it for free. I've got a way of not paying him yet, so hopefully I can keep that up. Before I start sinking into an endless money pit, I want to make sure it runs. The engine is not seized and turns over fine. Okay, so first thing is get spark. I bodged and soldered the wiring up, and then bought a spark plug, and we have spark. Spark plug installed. At the moment we're £3.79 into the build. There's actually plenty of compression, so onto the carb. Not even going to try and run it without cleaning it, but it's actually not too bad. Made my own gasket and carb installed. Tank isn't in great condition. Hasn't got a cap or anything, so I decided to just replace it for £12.99. Fuel line £2.44, and unfortunately we're £19.22 in already. Some fresh oil. The exhaust port had a broken off bolt, so I had to saw into it a bit to get a flathead screwdriver in there. Exhaust installed, and after a lot, and I mean a lot, of kicking, swearing and starter fluid, as you can see, I was quite happy about that, but now I'm ready to start throwing money at it. This is the price list. Bought a throttle for £6.48. I actually end up breaking this one, so make that two. While running it, it actually fell over and burnt my leg, so I decided to get some exhaust wrap, as it didn't have any bolt holes for a heat shield. The exhaust reinstalled with a crush gasket that ran me £2.99. I only really filmed when I felt like it, so you know, some bits are more detailed than others. She was leaking oil from the right side of the engine, so I decided to take the engine case off and see what was going on. I thought it was just, you know, a bad gasket or something, but turns out there's a hairline crack on the bottom of the case, which is really annoying. But before fixing that, I cleaned out this horrible filter, which cleaned out nice, and bought some JB Weld, which if you don't know is pretty much heatless weld, and applied that. And she sealed up nicely and no more leaks. Cleaned off the old gasket. Made myself a new one, which wasn't easy because there's a lot of thin edges. And everything's back together nicely. Listen to this bad rattling. The sound was coming from the starter motor, so I took it off and found that the chain wasn't even attached to the starter motor gear and just rattling around on the flywheel. So I went ahead and took off the other engine case to get the chain out. As I don't have a battery or anything, so kickstart is what I'm running. And this should save some weight as well, as the starter motor is quite heavy. I found a washer that fits exactly into the hole because I don't want mud getting in there. I also thought this would be a good time to clean up the points, but I've only got before pictures, not after. Everything's back together, but there are two holes on the side of the case and I don't want the chain slinging mud in there, so I made like a bracket to go over it. It just bolts on to a hole that's already there. Again, a case comes off. This time it's because I noticed a problem with the shifting. It wouldn't change out of the gear it was in. It was because of a shifter arm that grabs the gears was bent and just needed bending back. All back together. It's time for the most expensive thing in this build, the wheels. I bought these off eBay for £66. They were the very cheapest I could find and came with brandless tyres and inner tubes already installed. I'm just installing the sprocket onto the rear wheel. It was free because it came with the bike, and I'm about to take the writing off of the bolts just to make it look a bit nicer. Rear wheels on the bike with a new axle that was £3.99. For spacers I just used washers that I had. The chain was free because I had it lying around and the chain's installed. The front brake disc and front brake caliper and lever were a bundle for £22.99. Brake discs installed and the front wheels installed. Calipers on and levers on. The new air filter was £7.99. At this point the bike is in running rideable condition and has cost me £112.27p. It just doesn't look very good, mainly because of the plastics and flaking paint. It also doesn't have a back brake. I mean, I could leave it there, but surprisingly, I still have a bit of money left. So in this next part of the video, I'm going to be making her look way nicer. Okay, so I took it on literally like a 20-minute test ride, during which I got a flat back tyre because of the stupid cheap rear inner tubes. The repair cost was £10 and 8p. Repainted the xsport engravings because they'd all gone yellow and faded. I'm respraying this rusty old skid plate. I need a kickstand, but I don't really want to pay for one, so I'm going to try and make my own. I'm using this metal to make like a little stopper tab for the kickstand so they won't go all the way forwards. It's just going to go onto this bolt, the small one. This little clip is where the kickstand is going to mount while I ride. I bolted it on with the chain guard. It's just the two little clips that I found. Okay, so the old design worked, but I didn't really like it and the clip was a bit ugly. And I want a design with a spring, so I'm going to change it. Fold down and rounded off the tab. I'm taking off the kickstand clip because I'm not going to use it again. I'm drilling a hole where the spring is going to mount onto the kickstand. Trimming down and filing off the bolt where the little tab mounts. I'm welding the bolt in place where the kickstand spring is going to mount. I'm nicking the spring off of my lamp for the kickstand. Kickstand's all done and working. All I need to do is weld a plate onto the bottom when my dad gets more gas for our welder. As you can see, the paint on the engine case is flaking and it looks terrible. I'm going to sand it all down and make it look nice, and here's the finished product. I'm adjusting the clutch because it kicked a bit when I took it on the test ride. Okay, so my problem was that the clutch lever was hitting the bars and the clutch wasn't fully engaging, but the thing was, when I tried to tighten it up, it would just pull the spring on the clutch and, you know, start engaging the clutch. I stole this lever off one of my bikes. Okay, so there's a bunch of weird welds and brackets that serve no purpose, and you know, I've got no idea what they're for. I mean, one of them doesn't even have a hole or anything in it, so I don't know what that was used for. So I'm just gonna smooth it down and make it look a bit better. A nicer cap I had lying around. It's time for some new plastics, as the old ones are all faded and scratched and are missing parts. Yeah, and I mean the seat is held together with duct tape, so it's time. The new plastics were 15 quid, and as they were so cheap, they didn't even come with screws to hold it together, so I had to find my own ones. And it looks pretty good. And with that, the project's done. Altogether, it cost me £184.32p. This is the finished product.